You're really old.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys, everybody? Game Time Brian, otherwise known as the Mailman. Good morning. Good Sunday morning. Good morning, football. Is this not exciting? This is very exciting for me. This is like Christmas morning, okay? Now, my Christmas mornings, shout out to my mom, Carolyn, my father, Melvin. That's right, I said Melvin. He was a Southern boy, so all you Eagle fans who think that I'm a bandwagon jumper, take a long walk off a short pier. My man, my dad, Melvin, was a diehard Cowboy fan from Oklahoma, relocated at a very young age to Dallas, Texas, was a big-time Cowboy fan, was in the military. Long story short, met my mother, who was a legal secretary in Washington, D.C., from Philadelphia, relocated to South Jersey because it was cheaper. There you have it. Anyway, I'm excited to be waking up on a Sunday morning where we got two more teams out yesterday. We had the Houston Texans. Shout out to Eastside Harold. Eastside, I don't, listen, it's YouTube, right? You can be a little abrasive. Hold up. Patrick, go lay down before I come after you. My dog's already excited about the game. You're getting your jersey on in a little bit. Yeah, that's right. Playoff games bring out the jersey for the dog. He's undefeated. Between that and the Mystic pack, you're dead. But anyway, you got Eastside Harold, Houston Texans. They kicked butt last night. I want to apologize to my Cleveland Brown fans. I do have a couple. It's one of those situations where you finally get to the playoffs rolling with a defense that really will go down in history as one of the best ever statistically, and they got rolled. What was the final score? Let me see here. The final score was 45-14. C.J. Stroud, okay? C.J. Stroud kicked serious butt with not a lot of weapons, mind you. Now, it was a home game with that defense, the crowd. That's not the easiest place to play. Us Cowboys know. We've lost multiple games at, I don't know, NRG. I don't know what the hell it's called, but they've changed it so many times. Shout out to them, man. I give you all the props in the world. I thought that was going to be a close game. Cleveland did lead the game 10-7, but it was all Houston Texans. So, East Side, I'm truly happy for you. Things are really molding into shape for your team. I hope we see you in a Super Bowl. You never know. Anyway, next game, we got the Chiefs 27-6 over the Miami Dolphins. I was wrong again yesterday. One thing about me, I will keep it real, keep it 100. I expect the first game to be close. I liked Miami. Miami was totally outplayed in large part due to the weather. Miami wanted no part of it. Now, I got a question for the NFL. I was looking at, some things, some pictures of the game last night this morning. Just to let you know, and we'll get to my malfunction, but let me get to this, and then we'll get into my system here. I think we got it. I think me and my producer, Colleen, have it figured out. The helmets. Are the NFL helmets really supposed to be? Are they made for that cold of weather? Did you see Patrick Mahomes' helmet just shatter on that one hit? Go check out the photos. I noticed that the Miami Dolphins helmets were off-colored more than usual because of the cold. They were almost like a cream color. At least that's the way it seemed on TV. I think the NFL has to revisit their helmet policy and you put these helmets to extreme cold because helmets should not shatter like that. Maybe it helped. If you think about it, maybe like a breakaway, maybe it helped. But I just thought that was absolutely crazy. I do want to apologize for last night's stream. I did tell you I got this beautiful Rodecaster Pro 2. I was able to do videos like this and upload them. But when you introduce OBS live streaming studio, that has a lot of things that you have to set appropriately. And then when you introduce Zoom to the party, Zoom has to communicate with OBS, that has to communicate with the roadcaster. I did hit a button while we were live streaming. I kept seeing, I'm a perfectionist, people, believe it or not. I know this is broke ass media, as Mark Holmes likes to say, but I don't like people saying I'm low. And there's a reason why I'm low, but I'm trying to fix it. And I don't want to just bump up the game because then you hear all the hum and, work in progress. I think I got it. I will be live streaming today at 4:15. And we're going to roll through tonight. I was very tired last night. For whatever reason, I don't know what was going on. I was real tired. When I cut it off, I know I went back. You could hear me and my producer, Colleen, talking, AKA very close friend, Colleen. My wife was over there laughing. So she was like, you guys are nuts. I'm like, she knows not to get involved with high tech because my wife, opposite of high tech. Colleen's slightly better, well, a lot better, but it is what it is. We're going to get that worked out. I apologize for that, but I was tired anyway. I sat down. I was letting Colleen mess with it. YouTube, you got to love YouTube. She watched YouTube. She changed a lot of settings on the OBS. I think that's where the issue was, but I did reset everything to factory settings on the Rodecaster Pro in the middle of a live stream. So Rhonda Lovelace Sparks, it's not your fault, but I forgot when you do that, it's not like resetting is real quick. I have to literally go back and set up the mic and set up my headphones. Everything has to be started from scratch. So it was a mistake on my part. I did bump up the main volume on my computer because the people were saying I was a little low. My old setup, it was a lot cheaper, but it seemed to get the job done. But it didn't have all the bells and whistles and being able to hit buttons. And I'm going to do a video on this setup soon after I get it worked out. You'll see what I'm talking about. But the other one was real easy, but it was limited. Whereas this, I could do a lot more once I iron out everything. But I fell asleep literally 15 minutes after I maybe about a half hour, 40 minutes after I shut the stream down in the recliner. Didn't even see the end of the game. That's how tired I was. I don't know if it was working. It was a lot of wind at work. It wasn't cold, but the day before it was freezing. A lot of weird weather here in South Jersey. But all that being said, I think we're going to get this taken care of. Now, I wanted to go over the Cowboys on the eve of the 2023. It's still the 2023 playoffs, not the 2024 playoffs, right? I believe, or no, it's a 2023 season, right? It's the 2023 champion in the NFL. Weird how that works, even though it's 2024. The Cowboys lead the NFL. Hold on. Let me see if this works. I'm going to cough and hit the mute button. Let's see if it works. Leave in a comment if you heard that cough. Now, I'll be able to go back and look at it. But the Dallas Cowboys led the NFL in 13 statistics. I haven't been able to shake this cold. I've had it for a month now. The first of them, Dallas was number one in the league with 509 points scored. 509. Now, that's pretty darn impressive. Just remember that is 509 points scored. That's with the first month of the season before the bye week when we ran a ultra conservative. We overchecked what happened the year before. We overcompensated for Dak's interception problem, which his whole career he's never had it until, oh, by the way, he had a thumb, missed 5 games, and had 3 screws put in it in his passing hand. But Dak and the Cowboys are not allowed to get that injury thing. It's not an excuse for them. So I don't want to hear injuries for any other team in the playoffs. Eagles not excluded. So that was good. 509 points, man. Very good. Led the NFL in points scored. And in the end, that's what you got to do, right? You just need your defense to be average, and our defense was better than average. Okay, moving on to the offense. The league leader in passing touchdowns was Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had 36 passing touchdowns with that mediocre, revamped offense through the first 4 weeks. 36 touchdowns. That's your league leader in passing touchdowns. We're not talking about running and running quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, uno, number one. So stick it. Number 3, the passing completions. This goes into the in a roundabout sort of way. Dak Prescott led the league with completions with 410. He had 410 completed passes. Dak Prescott, number 1. All you players who didn't vote for him for MVP, drink in all the stats, okay? You know me, I like to say it's a team game, and I will stick to that. Yeah, Dak's number 1 in that category as well. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb led the league with 135 receptions as a receiver. Again, number one. Number 1 is in receiver. So when you talk about guys like A.J. Brown, and listen, A.J. Brown has had Devontae Smith. It's been Dallas. I will go with this argument with a lot of the Eagle fans who say, well, Dallas don't have as many good players, so the ball doesn't get spread around. This is the one time I will agree with you. They, after the bye week, because his CD wasn't off to the best of starts. Remember, he was on the sideline distancing himself from the rest of his teammates. He wasn't scrubbing his social media. He wasn't not talking to the media. He didn't have a bug up his ass like other receivers in this league. Him and Dak went into a room with the coach and worked it out and revamped the offense. And since they did that, Dallas's offense has been number 1 in the league. It just has. Without Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore. Yeah, without Kellen. 135 receptions. CD is on his way. I think all around, when you talk about all around wide receiver, the strength, attacking the ball, size, speed, route running, he's the best all around wide receiver in football. And it's up for debate. I'm not saying he's the most explosive. I always give that to Tyreek Hill. So, okay, moving on to number 5. Number 5, CeeDee Lamb. He led the league in targets, which goes to my previous point that I'm not going to argue with the Eagles fans. I think most Eagle fans would take CD over A.J. Brown, and that's not a slight on A.J., just like Dak versus Jalen. They're both 2 unbelievable quarterbacks. Jalen's going through a rough stretch, okay? Unlike a lot of the fans around here, he's not Jalen Wentz, okay? Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He needs help. He needs an offensive mind to help him, and Dracula, a.k.a. Nick Sirianni, is not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. So, 181 targets. So, he caught 135, right? Is that what we said? Yeah. He caught 135 out of 181. So, that's pretty. That was number 1 in the league. So, he should catch more, right? All right, moving on. Longest place in CD. If you guys notice, CD's involved in a lot of this. Longest play from scrimmage. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb, and the Detroit Lion game, the 92-yard touchdown pass where Dak somehow eluded the linebacker in the end zone, mind you, slid out, threw it off his back foot, 92-yard touchdown pass. That led the league. So that might win some category of player, most exciting play of the year. Because if you watch that, Dak was dead to rights. He should have went down. He's a strong MFer. That's my quarterback. That's my teammate. All right. Looks like we're going to the defensive side of the ball. Deron Bland led the NFL with 9 interceptions. What I will tell you is Since Deron Bland has been in the league, he leads the league in interceptions. That's impressive. Deron Bland is a real deal, people. The hardest position, the hardest position to play in the NFL is defensive back, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, the mailman from South Jersey, longtime football fan, aficionado, love the game. To me, that's the hardest because these, especially in this day and age with the rules, everything is catered to scoring points. They don't want guys like Deron Bland. Now, they actually like Deron Bland because he's scoring points, but on defense. They don't have a problem with that. They don't like Revis Island type guys or Jones. Was it Robert Jones? Not Robert Jones. We had a defensive back who signed a big deal with Miami out of the small school. I think he went to UConn. Help me out with the name, people in the chat. Help me out. Yeah, like a few years ago. But he never got interceptions. He would just cover you. But you need, like the NFL, like the thing about it is you need to put points on the board. So moving on, Deron Bland. This also follows that same suit. 209 interception return yards. It's an interesting statistic, but Deron Bland leads the league in that with 209 interception return yards. So obviously he have 9 interceptions. Now he did take a few to the house, right? 4? 3 or 4? He picked off 9 let's see. More than, yeah. So he had 5. He had 5 pick sixes. That's incredible. Okay, let me see here. Next category, Deron Bland, 5 interceptions for touchdowns. So he led the league in interceptions for touchdowns. Not 6, it was 5. Here we go. 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 This is what I would tell you people. Here we go. 91. Micah Parsons led the league. Led the league in quarterback pressures with 91. Let's see if they have a next closest. Although it's not an official stat, QB pressures is not only calculated by every team, but also Pro Football Focus. I'm not the huge Pro Football Focus guy. I like it for stuff like this. Sometimes their best rated player is a nobody. So I have a problem with that based on how many reps they're getting, minimal reps, but yet you still can be up against the big boys. I don't really get that. Parsons has pressure to quarterback more than any other player in 23-24. Average of 5.35 pressures per game. Very, very impressive, Micah. Listen, man, Max Crosby and all these other guys, they deserve what they got, Micah. There's no slouch against you. Just know that most teams would want you as a cornerstone on defense because of what many things you could do. I think Dan Quinn is using you perfectly. I just think Dan Quinn uses you just perfect and moves you around. I think that's when you're most dangerous. You're like a Swiss Army knife. And I love you like when you're over the center. I think that's a mismatch. I like D-Law. I think like guys like Jason Kelsey and even the most elite centers in the league can't deal with you. They just can't. They could scheme around you when you're locked in on the edge. So keep them pressures up, buddy. You're going to get your payday. All right. Brandon Aubrey, 11 out of the 13. Brandon Aubrey is number 1 in the league with 157 total points scored. When you combine the highest scoring team in the league, a couple with a kicker that didn't miss until week 18, it's only fitting Aubrey led the league. Shout out to Brandon Aubrey. It just seems like yesterday that we were in training camp watching that debacle. And yet this young kid, Brandon Aubrey, and I said, you know what? Let's go with the young guy. Let's go with somebody new. Let's go with a young guy who has a high ceiling. Did I expect him not to miss until the last week in a windy ass Landover, Maryland, against the Washington Commanders? Hell of a year, Brandon Aubrey. You're just getting started. I got a feeling you're going to be a Cowboy for a long time. All right, moving on. 12 out of 13. 36 field goals made. Obviously, when you're scoring a lot of points, you're moving the ball. Come on now. The Cowboys, especially the Cowboys, they kick a lot of field goals. They weren't necessarily early on in the year the best in the red zone. So that's not a surprising stat. And last but not least, touchbacks. This is actually, along with the field goals, I would say field goals made, points scored as a rookie is what's so impressive. But this one here, touchbacks, is the most important. There's nothing more annoying than having a kicker who can't kick a touchbacks. Brandon Aubrey had 99 touchbacks this year. The first-year kicker has received way more attention for his ability to make field goals and lead the league in scoring, but his touchbacks have been a weapon as well. He set the NFL record with 88 touchbacks, but he kept it going to finish the season. The starting field position for opponents was rarely anything but the 25-yard line. When you have the defense starting at the 25 every time, making them have to go the length of the field, they're not going to be able to do that consistently. Hand in hand with them scoring points, Dallas Cowboys putting points on the board. I've been telling everybody. Everybody wants to say our defense needs to get better. There's a reason why Micah Parsons was doing what he's doing as far as pressures, and Bland is doing what he's doing as far as pick sixes. The reason is our offense is putting up points and touchdowns, making teams one-dimensional. The longer you make a team multi-dimensional, like in the games, like Detroit, the longer you keep them around. When we score 21 or less points, we're 0-12 in our last 12 games. When we score 21 or less points, you could be at the Niners, like we've done, at home against the Niners in playoff games, at Arizona, 16 points this year, you know. I think the Eagles, we scored 15, 16, 17, or maybe we scored 21. Maybe we scored 21. I'm not positive. I didn't do my homework, but I know we didn't score more than 21. So we lose. Here's the thought, boys. Worry about your offense. It makes playing defense a hell of a lot easier. The starting field position was rarely more than 25-yard line. Listen, this all leads up. This all leads up to today at 4:30, 4:25. I'll be live streaming at 4:15 with Loyal Cowboy, maybe Mark Holmes if you'll have me again. I mean, we'll see. Maybe prime time. I don't know. I don't think prime time. I think he said he was busy. This all leads up to that. All the stats, all the offensive stats, all the defensive stats goes out the window if you don't get the job done today. Mike McCarthy being a great play caller, even though I have my issues at times with running the ball. On first down continually, I think sometimes it gets a little stale where the teams know where they're coming from. That all goes aside if you get the job done today. If you get the job done today, that all goes away. We move on. Next week at home, this is it. This is the run. This is what everybody's waiting for. I'd like to get a win today, be able to sit back, enjoy 2 games tomorrow, one in Buffalo, and then a 2 ending in Tampa Bay. I think the Eagles have a shot to win. A.J. Brown being out. Man, when it rains, it pours in Philly, let me just tell you. And it's been raining a lot in that locker room. It just seems like it's falling apart. The Dracula and company, a.k.a. Nick Sirianni, it's like holding like water in your hands. Everything is just like, he can't hold everything in his hands. Everything's falling through. It's leaking everywhere. The seals are breaking. But that being said, this is what we play for. Your cough, I want everybody to let me know if cough number 2 is heard or not heard. Let me know down below if you heard that cough. I think I got it, people. I think my producer has figured it out. Shout out to Colleen. You did a great job. But if not, you're fired. No, I'm joking. But yes, make sure you guys tune in to see me later at 4:15. Hopefully there are no now I'm not using OBS and I'm not using Zoom. So that'll introduce once I get it worked out, sky's the limit. But in saying that, I will talk to everybody later. Go Cowboys. That's the first game of the day. I'm loving it. Tonight's game, I'm very, very excited about. The Rams at Detroit. As you see, there is a theme working here. Home teams, home teams. There's always one home team who craps the bed. Who's going to be that home team? Is it going to be Dallas tonight? Better not be. Is it going to be Detroit tonight? The Rams can. Now, I've been saying Rams, 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 but something tells me Detroit just may take care of business. I don't know. I'm rooting for the Rams. That whole debacle with the Detroit, I'm over it, bro. Dan Campbell, he talks too much sometimes. And then tomorrow we got Buffalo. I think Buffalo is blowing out the Steelers. I just do. Eagles may be the team to beat Tampa Bay. So there's always one home team who loses. Now, as we saw yesterday, the Texans won big. The Chiefs won big. Who's going to be that home team that loses? Let me know down in the chat. There's only one more thing I got to say, and go Cowboys. I can't wait for this game to start, and let's go.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Peace out, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Late.